You are sitting in a room and it happens again. Someone makes a subtle cutting remark at your expense. Or maybe they dump their responsibilities onto your desk at the last minute. Or perhaps they completely talk over you in a conversation, treating your voice like background noise. And what do? You smile. You nod. You let out a quiet, uncomfortable laugh. You swallow the burning lump of frustration in your throat, and you tell yourself that you are just keeping the peace. You tell yourself that you are being the bigger person. You tell yourself that you are just being nice. But let's be brutally honest. You're not keeping the peace. You are stockpiling a quiet, suffocating war inside your own chest. You're not being the bigger person. You're making yourself as small as possible so that someone else can feel comfortable. Society has sold you a devastating lie. You have been conditioned since childhood to believe that being nice is the highest moral virtue. You have been taught that if you are endlessly accommodating, endlessly flexible, and endlessly forgiving, the world will eventually reward you with love and respect. But look at your life. Look at the people who constantly bend over backward for everyone else. Are they respected? Or are they used, exhausted, and completely taken for granted? The ancient Stoics did not waste their time trying to be nice. Men like Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the known world, and Epictetus, who survived the brutal chains of slavery, did not build their philosophy on the fragile foundation of people-pleasing. They built it on virtue, courage, and uncompromising self-respect. They understood a terrifying psychological truth. The world does not respect you for what you give away. The world respects you for what you have the courage to withhold. Today we are going to tear down the exhausting, fragile identity of the nice person. We are going to explore 7 brutal Stoic laws that will completely rewire how you interact with humanity. We are going to teach you how to stop trading your dignity for cheap approval and how to execute the fundamental shifts that will guarantee you are never disrespected again. Before we reconstruct your mental architecture, you must make a choice. Are you ready to stop being a casualty of your own compliance? If you are tired of being the world's doormat, hit the subscribe button right now. Join a community of sovereign minds who refuse to live on their knees. Share this video with someone who is currently drowning in the disease of people-pleasing, and do not skip a single second of this guide. Every law is a layer of armor you desperately need. Seal your commitment to this transformation today. Drop this exact vow in the comments below. I trade my niceness for absolute respect. Number 1. The brutal distinction between being nice and being good. Niceness is a performance. It is a transactional strategy designed to avoid conflict. When you're being nice, you're not acting out of genuine love or high moral character. You're acting out of fear. You're terrified of rejection. You're terrified of someone thinking poorly of you. You're terrified of the awkward, heavy silence that follows a disagreement. So, you wear a mask. You agree with opinions you actually despise. You offer help when you are already drowning in your own exhaustion. Niceness is deceitful because it hides your true boundaries behind a fake smile. Stoicism demands that you abandon niceness and pursue goodness. There is a massive continental divide between the two. Goodness is rooted in integrity. A good person tells the truth even when the truth causes immediate friction. A good person stands up for what is right, even if it makes the room uncomfortable. A good person protects their own inner citadel because they know that if they are drained and resentful, they are of no use to anyone. You must stop acting like a puppet, pulled by the strings of external validation. When you stop trying to be nice, you reclaim the strings. You stop operating as a mirror reflecting back whatever the other person wants to see. You become a solid, immovable object. People might be momentarily shocked when you stop bending to their will, but that shock will quickly harden into genuine respect. They will realize that your yes actually means yes because your no is finally allowed to exist. Anchor this distinction in your mind right now. Comment below. I am done performing. I choose integrity. Number 2. The weaponization of the unflinching no. Think about the last time you tried to decline an invitation or refuse a favor. Your brain immediately went into overdrive, desperately searching for a valid excuse. You invented a fake scheduling conflict. You exaggerated an illness. You apologized profusely, wrapping your refusal in 10 layers of padding so that the other person wouldn't feel the sting of rejection. Why do you do this? Because you believe that your basic human preference is not a sufficient reason to decline. You think you need a court-approved alibi to protect your own time. To command absolute respect, you must master the unflinching no. In Stoic philosophy, time is the ultimate non-renewable currency. You guard your bank account with lethal force, yet you hand over your time to anyone who asks. When you over-apologize and invent excuses, you are signaling that your time belongs to the world and you're just asking for a small piece of it back. You must train yourself to deliver a negative response as a complete standalone sentence. I won't be able to commit to that. No, I'm not available for this project. I'm going to pass on this invitation. And then you must do the hardest thing in the world. You must shut your mouth and hold the silence. Do not fill the void with anxious rambling. Do not offer a discount on your boundary. When you deliver a clear, unpetted no, the other person immediately registers that they are dealing with an equal, not a subordinate. They learn that your resources are premium and access to you is a privilege, not a right. Declare your new standard below. Type this: my time is sacred and my boundary is firm. Number 3, eradicate the nervous smile. Communication is fundamentally biological before it is verbal. When a predator approaches, prey animals display specific submissive behaviors to signal that they are not a threat. Humans do the exact same thing, but we disguise it as politeness. When someone crosses your boundary, makes a passive-aggressive comment, or disrespects you in a group setting, pay attention to what your face does. If you suffer from the disease of niceness, your default reaction is a nervous, high-pitched laugh or a weak smile. You're attempting to soften the tension, clears throat. You're trying to signal to the aggressor, we are still friends. I am not a threat. Please do not attack me further. This biological submission is the exact reason why toxic people target you. They subconsciously raid your nervous smile as a green light to push further. You have essentially given them a psychological permission slip to continue their disrespect. You must violently eradicate the nervous smile from your behavioral repertoire. When someone disrespects you, you must match their boundary violation with absolute stone-cold physical stillness. You look them directly in the eyes. You let your face rest in a completely neutral, unreadable expression. You do not laugh. You do not look away. You hold their gaze with the clinical, detached curiosity of a scientist observing a deeply flawed experiment. When you withhold the nervous smile, you deprive the manipulator of the emotional release they were hunting for. The awkwardness they tried to force onto you instantly bounces back and lands squarely on their shoulders. They are left standing in the freezing silence of their own disrespectful behavior. The dynamic of power flips in a fraction of a second. Lock in your physical discipline. Comment below: I do not smile at disrespect. Number 4, stop explaining your boundaries. The amateur believes that if they just find the perfect logical explanation, the toxic person will finally understand and respect their boundary. You sit them down. You pour your heart out. You explain how their actions made you feel. And you desperately try to make them see your perspective. You think you're having a mature conversation, but a manipulator does not view an explanation as a request for understanding. A manipulator views an explanation as an opening for a negotiation. When you explain why you won't accept certain behavior, you're stepping onto a witness stand and handing them the judge's gavel. You're implicitly saying, here are my reasons. Please tell me if they are good enough. They will immediately begin to dismantle your logic. They will gaslight you. They will tell you that you are overreacting, that you misunderstood their intentions, or that your memory is flawed. You will leave the conversation feeling crazy, drained, and entirely defeated. The Stoic warrior understands that a boundary is not a negotiation. It is an executive order. We must only concern ourselves with what is in our control. You control your standard. You do not control their agreement with your standard. When you set a boundary, you state it as a biological fact. Do not speak to me in that tone. I will not participate in this conversation if it continues this way. If they ask why, if they demand an explanation, you do not take the bait. You simply repeat the boundary. This is what I require to continue this interaction. By refusing to explain yourself, you close all the loopholes. You leave them with only two choices: adjust their behavior or lose access to your presence. Commit to this level of absolute clarity. Type this: my boundaries do not require their approval. Number 5. The lethal application of strategic absence. The defining characteristic of a nice person is their perpetual availability. No matter how many times they are overlooked, betrayed, or insulted, they always show up the next day with a forgiving smile, hoping things will be different. You believe that your unwavering loyalty will eventually wear down their disrespect and transform it into love. This is a tragic, self-destructive delusion. In human psychology, people only value what they fear losing. If a toxic person knows that they can treat you like absolute garbage on Tuesday and you will still be sitting eagerly at their table on Wednesday, what possible incentive do they have to change? You have eliminated all the consequences of their bad behavior. To completely eradicate disrespect from your life, you must master the lethal application of strategic absence. When someone violates your core standards, you do not need to scream, throw a tantrum, or orchestrate a dramatic exit. You simply remove your premium energy from their life. You become a ghost. You stop returning their texts with enthusiasm. You stop offering your brilliant ideas to their projects. You withdraw your warmth, your humor, and your attention. You treat them with the polite, icy professionalism of a hotel receptionist dealing with a stranger. You are a sovereign mind. You are the architect of your own reality. When you distinguish between goodness and meanness, when you master the unflinching no, when you kill the nervous smile, when you stop explaining your boundaries, and when you strategically withdraw your presence, you completely rewrite the rule book of your life. The manipulators will fall away. The energy vampires will seek easier prey. And what will be left is a circle of relationships built on the solid rock of mutual, undeniable respect. It will feel uncomfortable at first. Your old programming will scream at you to bend, to apologize, to make peace. Ignore it. Stand in the fire of that discomfort. Hold the line. Every time you choose your dignity over their comfort, you lay another massive stone in the foundation of your inner citadel. If you have stayed in the fire with me until the very end of this video, you belong to a rare fraction of humanity. You are not a spectator looking for soft comfort. You are a builder ready to forge a life of profound substance and raw power. Prove your commitment to yourself right now. Hit the like button to cement your progress today. Share this video with someone who is currently giving their power away to people who do not deserve it. And make sure you are subscribed so you never lose your edge. Leave your final unbreakable declaration in the comments below. I command my mind and I demand my respect. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, guard your inner citadel. I will see you in the next one.